You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tonya Mazurek.
Welcome to SBA Today for the week of October 1st, where our motto is likely helpful, definitely entertaining. Good morning, Tonya. What's going on today?
Good morning, Paul. Happy October 1st.
Yes.
The new month. Awesome. And with that new month, as we all know, it's a new year. All of us lenders, are resetting at zero. Congratulations. But we will see who won the award for the end of the SBA's fiscal year. Anyway, SBA Guzman testifies at the Small Business Committee last week. Paul, you've got comments on this, I know.
I do.
And you know what Paul created a couple weeks ago? What would you say? Awesome.
Well, first, I have the story for this week, and I'm going to share two quick ones. One is actually not necessarily a story, but a reminder to us all.
Nice.
The end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the whatever is always hell, correct? Like, I don't know a single person in SBA that doesn't bang their head against a wall during that time.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things my wife told me is she goes, why don't you just put on your calendar to keep your schedule light during those times so you can focus on the deals? I'm like, well, that's a really good idea.
Periodically, right?
I'm sharing it with you guys because it is the last, week of a month and a quarter, and especially as we just went through year, there's a lot of pressure for deals to close, maybe incentives, maybe a whole bunch of different reasons why the end of the month and a quarter. So put on your calendar, keep light, or do whatever you need to remind yourself that you're not booking tons of appointments during the last week when you really need to focus. So that's
because inevitably something comes out of the woodworks, just like we tell borrowers and whatnot when they're doing their things. Inevitably,
it's a disaster.
Go the other way, and you're in trouble. So
that's correct. And the other thing I really want to talk about, and if anyone has known me for a decent amount of time, I am really big into education. And one of the most successful things I do leading my SBA team here at Gesa and as a salesperson is education. Last week, I was on a panel with two other SBA managers talking to small business owners about funding. And not only did I get leads out of it, but I got to really meet other people on the panel to refer deals back and forth to. So it's not just the people in the room that you're educating to. Maybe if you're on a panel, it's great to network with those individuals as well. When I was a BDO, education was a key to my success. And the more you educate, the more you go out into the community and volunteer to talk and do those types of things, it really sets you out compared to others. And our we'll call him our godfather, Ray Drew, again, does a great job of this. I know he's probably loving that. But he does the exact same thing. And it's exactly a huge thing. So, and also I know there's other BDOs. I know there's a few on the BDO show that have their own website, just like myself. I'll give you a shameless plug, paultlong.com. Go there, check it out. You'll see not all the education regarding SBA, buying a business, etc. Because you need to brand yourself as an individual because people do business with you. Sorry, not necessarily always the institution. Relationships follow an individual. And institutions don't like to hear that because they can't control that. But guess what? It's the truth. So brand yourself, go out there, educate, give it all you got, because at the end of the day, you are the person that your clients bank with. So,
well, you know what's crazy about that, Paul, because I agree with that 100%. When I first came over into SBA strictly, right? Came over to Midwest Regional Bank and was only SBA. The way I branded myself was my Tonya's Tidbits, right? Back then, I mean, that was 7 years ago. God, at least. Anyway, the way I was doing it at that point, I mean, I was just copying and pasting little tidbits, right, from the
Right.
SOP. And in doing that, I got questions. Well, I was learning as I went, to be honest, because
Mhm.
I'd get the questions and then I'd have to research even further in order to answer those questions. So it did a couple things for me. One, it taught me. Two, it taught others. Three, yes, it connected my name with SBA and created me into an expert even prior to me potentially being an
100%.
expert.
Yep.
So that was very helpful. And I still do them now. And now they're in the video form, which I've kind of been a little slow on those as of late because we've been
Hey,
doing
you
this.
have.
So,
What's up with that?
trying to find time for everything, right? But yeah, I mean, I think in teaching others, you
Mhm.
learn. I said it's a win-win situation
Correct.
for anybody. So I 100% agree with you. So
Absolutely. And that's why we're doing podcasts.
it's
Weird,
why we're
right?
doing podcasts. We're putting it out there as best we can, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
Let's
well,
jump into the
anyway,
news.
okay, so let's do it. The next one we're going to talk about is the fact that we're all reset now, right? It's the end. So now we've all been judged. We've done what we could do, and now we're seeing who came out on top, right? We knew it was between New Tech and Live Oak. Duh, right? I mean, they're the biggies. They do a heck of a lot in the space, but we didn't know who really was going to pull it out. Now, Paul and I
Yeah.
had a bet. I win.
You
Sorry,
did. You
I
do.
win.
That's
Anyway,
correct.
and so yeah, New Tech pulled it out, and let's see, theirs is at, oh my goodness, their approval count, right? So how many got
Right.
approved for New Tech
Yep.
during the last fiscal year was 3,819. The approval amount, wait for it, holy moly, 2,098,740,000. Wait, did I get that
Yep.
right? Yeah, 400. Holy moly. Their average loan size
Great.
was 549,552. Now, this is kind of a fun one to do right here. Live Oak coming in second, close second, mind you, right?
Yep.
They had 1,440 approval, 1 million, or no, 1,900,000, no, one, oh boy, 1,983,953,500. And but they had 1,003, or let's see, 1,377,745 average loan size. So the fun thing that I like to see in that is the difference in not only the approval count, it's like a third. Live
Mhm.
Oak had about a third approval count. And you see that actually in their average loan size, which is about 3 times the size of New Tech as well. So
Yep.
that's really interesting to me personally of who's doing what. And it takes all of us. People need small, people need large, right? And
Yep.
and everybody has like their specific space to play in that makes
Correct.
them really good in that area. So nobody's better than the other, but we all have our specialties. But that's pretty interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks
I
like we
do
have some
want.
funding till. We also got the
Oh,
funding
yeah.
help.
Sorry. Go
We have
ahead.
funding until December 20th because they moved that out. We were wondering what was
Yeah.
fixing to happen until the next government crisis, of course. And of course, they moved it past the election. Shh. Anyway, 15 billion for the secondary market and 35 million in 7A funding for 2025 so far. Anyway,
Just to add on that, so
yeah.
for the year, $31.1 billion in SBA lending. So that's a huge thing. And I do have to give a shout out to the #1 credit union in all of the United States,
Oh,
Reliant Federal Credit Union, led by Ray Drew. Congratulations. Yeah, so congratulations. I was #5 in credit union production, so I'll
oh,
take
look
it,
at you.
but I'm not as cool as Ray. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, I always
So
like that we're up there so high and being as what do you call it? Regional as we are. We're not in the big guys
right,
because we're not national. So
that's correct.
everybody's got their
Ditto.
space. Yep.
That's right. Ditto, ditto. So, what was really interesting is if you ever get some time, I encourage you to watch the. SBA Administrator Guzman went on Capitol Hill in the Small Business Committee, and anytime she talks, it's always really fun to. This is the one time where CNN is actually. Or not CNN or whatever the heck that thing they air that stuff on is actually entertaining, but it was Oh my gosh. You all need to do it for yourself, okay? Because it's so political that it's crazy. I don't even care what side of the aisle you're on. It was just crazy. They were beating up Guzman because they hired an individual to help with voting as a part of the SBA. Yeah, I don't care what side you're on. That's a little weird.
No words.
No, don't go there.
No
But it's a
words.
little weird. Don't get me wrong, however you look at it. And then they also were kind of going after her on increased defaults, which is more, in my idea, is more of an economic cycle that we're in, not necessarily her. They were really trying to blame it on the new rules as being a part of that. Maybe there's always a part on both sides.
With those new rules, Paul, I don't know. Did you take on all the new rules? Because I think that's also an institution to be considering and thinking out there. Okay, what's going to happen with this?
Correct. And that the little chart that if you're watching the video, one of the congressmen made a little chart and on defaults, and it was just it was really crazy. So if you ever want to see the dysfunction that is Washington, watch this. It was actually quite entertaining. But man, poor Guzman got beat up.
It's finger pointing. Everybody always has to have a scapegoat. Across the board, there's got to be somebody that's going to take the heat, and it sucks. Sorry, but it does. It sucks, quite honestly, because we actually went up. We have less defaults than previous because we chose not to loosen it up as much, right?
Correct.
So I think there's an institutional responsibility in that as well.
1,000%.
Yeah. Yes. Oh boy,
right,
now we're going to
time is it?
We are going to go into what would you say? We changed it from what would you do or whatever, but what would you say? All right, we want you to leave your comments too, because that way we can kind of respond to you and whatnot. I'm pulling this up a little bit, so we'll see if I can see it all. So we let's see, what is it? Here's one of them. We only hire the best people. And they say that early on. They say that in the very beginning. We only hire the best people.
And you know what? I only hire the worst. Like, what the hell? What kind of statement is that?
How do you really know, right?
So
define that for us. How we look at that is this often. Okay, you want to go ahead? Okay, yep. How we're defining it. This often translates to: I hire someone for a position that I think will be a good fit, but let's see, where is? But I've never really assessed their performance or provided feedback on how they can improve, because I don't want to manage people. When you've never been around someone great at something, even someone who is adequate can seem like the best. Ooh, words on that, Paul?
I hear it all the time. Not necessarily, I mean, from other individuals that I know. I've heard this, but most importantly, our clients, when they say, I only hire the best people, or what's your key to success? I only hire the best people.
Well, and you know what? It's position based too. I've always seen it that it's not the best people. Like, I have had so many people that I've either interviewed or even spoken to up front, and they may be the best person where they are, or the best fit somewhere else. Does not mean that whatever it is that they bring to the table, which is perfect for them and makes them awesome, is going to fit in the same role that maybe I have that I'm filling.
True.
So, anyway, all right. So another one we've got out there. I love this one.
I know, right?
I love this one, Paul. After add backs, we consistently have 25% margins.
Okay.
Now, how we see that and how we're interpreting. Yeah, exactly. Add backs will always be a point of contention between buyers and sellers and lenders.
And brokers.
Without delving into the debate of which add backs are legitimate, this should be interpreted as: my accountant helped me limit my tax exposure for years, but my broker did some magic and made my business look better. Oh, boy. Now.
God. No one's ever heard that or
this one, that's my favorite. I mean, the add backs are my favorite. And up front immediately with the sellers. Let them know, and with buyers, man. I was like, I get it. Sellers discretionary income. I love that.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that we're going to see it the same way. It is not on that tax return in some way, place, or somewhere that we can add back a one-time expense, or in some way that we can prove that is not going to be an ongoing. We're not allowing it. Sorry, it's not
Period.
happening.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just funny. Yeah. Come on. I rebuilt my home's kitchen and put that in there, but that's not going to be on. Well, that is your fault. That is your problem.
Correct. You
You did
probably
it.
shouldn't have done that as you're trying to
No,
sell your business.
no,
Probably not the
no.
smartest idea.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. But yeah, we would love. Are there any? Let's see. Do we have any comments? Anybody?
No.
Oh, no.
No,
Gosh,
but
you
make
guys
sure
are
to put them
quiet.
down there even after the fact, or if you're
You
listening
guys are
on
quiet.
podcast.
Exactly. Oh, well, fine then. We're just going to get off here because you guys aren't talking to us. So we're just going to let you go then. I'm kidding. But seriously. Okay. So if you want news right when it breaks, and or what we're bringing you right when it breaks, then watch us on LinkedIn and or YouTube immediately, or get caught up on any of the streaming platforms that you use to get your podcast. If you've got something for us to talk about, reach out to us. Comment in here on the show notes. Comment on our LinkedIn pages, and or send us an email at sba@artofsba.com. If you're a business owner or prospective business owner. Now, this is our plugs, right? This is for Paul and
Right.
I. Paul and I would love to help you. We do different things in different places, which is
True.
perfect, right? So if you've got something going on in Washington, Oregon, or Idaho, reach out to Paul Long at Gesa Credit Union. If you're in Colorado, Texas, Missouri, Florida, Arizona, Tennessee, or North Carolina, reach out to myself, Tonya Mazurek at Midwest Regional Bank. And if you're a passionate SBA professional, we've got our other family of podcasts that we'd love for you to take a look at, which is the BDO Show and Art of SBA Lending, wherever you get your favorite podcast. Anyway, holy cow, I can breathe now, right, Paul? That's it for us today. Go make it a great day.
See you later.